Comenzamos el bloque informativo en Extra News.
I defer to President Trump on what his next step is and what happens moving forward. But the president made his position quite clear today when he asked Zelensky and the Ukrainians to depart the White House. He feels as President Zelensky is not in the right mindset to negotiate peace. And I think, frankly, that was reinforced with his comments on Bret Baier refusing to apologize for disrespecting the president and the American people in the Oval Office. The president Zelensky was in the White House today and had a real chance to sign an economic agreement that would have been great for the American people to recoup our tax dollars and great for the Ukrainian people to rebuild their country. And unfortunately, he blew the deal up in his own face. The president has made it clear always that both sides need to talk equally to bring both sides to the table to negotiate a deal. And, in a good deal, any good deal, whether it's in business or in politics, both sides usually walk away a little bit unhappy. Unfortunately for Zelensky, I think he refuses to recognize the practical reality of this war. It's been going on for years. His countrymen are dying. And the people who have been funding this effort, the American people, are sick and tired of footing this bill. So it's a much different situation for him than it was 3 years ago. And as President Trump said today, he doesn't have any cards. The cards are not in his favor. They're in President Trump's favor. There's a new leader in the White House who has much different priorities than the last administration. He wants peace. He wants the war to end. And it doesn't seem like Zelensky wants that quite yet.
First of all, Canada has been there for Ukraine from day one, indeed from before day one, as in 2015 we started training Ukrainian military forces on the ground in Ukraine, which was a significant part. Western training to the Ukrainian armed forces is one of the reasons why Ukraine has been able to stand up to the Russian invaders so effectively over the past years. It's not just Canada, a number of countries have been involved. But for historical reasons, Canada having the second largest diaspora of Ukrainians in the world means that we felt deeply connected to Ukraine, but we also believe deeply that it's not just about Ukraine. It's about the rules and the values and the principles of sovereignty, of independence, of territorial integrity that protects every country in the world. All of us rely on those rules to be able to build peace and security. And we know that with the world changing, we're all going to have to do more around peace and security. One of the key themes that we heard today, as we've heard from many, many partners around the world in NATO and elsewhere over the past number of years, is people are going to be doing more on defense. 9.5 years ago when I took office in Canada, the previous government had us down below 1% of defense spending, even though the NATO 2% pledge had been made a year or two before. In the subsequent time, we have more than tripled defense spending on the path to 2030, and we're on our way to 2%. And we know we're going to have to continue to do more and more in an uncertain world, and Canada will be there. As to how we will be there, we will work with our neighbors on it, but everything is on the table because we need to make sure that might no longer makes right in this world. That's what has led to 80 years of incredible stability and prosperity, not just in Europe, but around the world, because of the institutions we built out of the ashes of World War II. And standing up for those institutions is in the best interest of every single one of us. Now, as a collection of different nations, we will have different perspectives from time to time on the best way forward, and those will be worked out in forums like this or at the G7 forum or elsewhere. But we are united in our values. We are united in wanting to see peace and fairness and prosperity for all our citizens, and that's what continues to drive us forward. Le Canada va toujours être là pour l'Ukraine. On est là depuis les débuts. On va continuer de l'être et on regardera comment on peut mieux aider dans les années à venir. Parce que défendre l'Ukraine, c'est pas juste défendre l'Ukraine, c'est défendre les principes et les valeurs qui nous protègent tous.
The sanctions question is concerned, what we see is that the sanctions already have a massive effect on the Russian economy. There are skyrocketing inflation, there is spiraling interest rates, so the effect is visible. Companies are leaving Russia. You see they are really grinding sanctions and biting sanctions. These sanctions are part of our approach that we want peace through strength. And it's very clear that unless Russia demonstrates by facts the true willingness to achieve a lasting and just peace agreement, we will increase punitive sanctions against Russia. So the precondition is first we have to see that there's action on the side of Russia towards a just and lasting peace agreement. Presently, there is no lasting peace agreement, so that it's much too early to speak about anything of potentially maintaining or increasing or lifting sanctions. This discussion can only be led after we've seen concrete steps on the Russian side.
Y no vamos a hacer eso. Si no hacemos nada, va a tener que acceder a la paz, pero tiene unas cartas muy flojas. La posición que tiene, aceptar que quiere la paz. No queremos una cosa a largo plazo, queremos una paz inmediata. El presidente Putin quiere la paz, él quiere ponerle fin al conflicto. Ustedes vieron lo que yo vi hoy. Ustedes vieron eso. Aquí tenemos a alguien que quiere firmar un acuerdo para seguir luchando. No lo vamos a hacer. Así que hemos establecido récords en materia económica y en otras áreas. Algunas de las cosas más importantes es esta trayectoria correcta o incorrecta. Por primera vez en 27 años estamos en el camino correcto. La otra cosa es la sensación de la gente sobre nuestro país. La gente se siente optimista. Está repuntado 48%. Y esto es un récord. Nunca se ha visto cosa semejante. Un repunte tan marcado en tan poco tiempo. Nos está yendo bien. Algunos de ustedes van a venir con nosotros. Espero que tengan buenos meses. ¿Qué necesita hacer Zelensky? Tiene que decir que quiere la paz. No tiene que pararse ahí a decir Putin esto, Putin lo otro. No, cosas negativas. Él tiene que decir yo quiero la paz. No quiero seguir en esta pugna, la gente está falleciendo. Quiero que entiendan, él no tiene las cartas. ¿Usted le dijo a Zelensky que se fuera de la Casa Blanca? No tengo que decirle eso. Creo que ustedes saben la respuesta. Pregunta fuera de micrófono. Miren, no es cuestión de confiar o no confiar en nadie. Quiero que se llegue a un acuerdo, si pasa perfecto. Pero no se puede envalentonar a alguien que no tiene las cartas en la mano y que diga de repente, bueno, ahora puedo seguir luchando. No, no vamos a seguir en la lucha. Hay que acabar con la pugna. O si no, que lo haga por su cuenta. Yo quiero gente interesada en la paz. Si él puede hacerlo, puede ser que sí, puede ser que no, pero quiero a alguien que esté dispuesto a alcanzar la paz. Nuevamente, no tiene las cartas en la mano. Eso no significa, si firmamos, que va a tener que seguir luchando. Puede ponerle fin a la lucha, a los fallecimientos. Están perdiendo cientos de miles de soldados. Es hora de ponerle fin a estos fallecimientos.
Muy pronto, vuelve a escuchar las noticias más relevantes en este canal de noticias.